Hi, Drollgard here. This is a little video, something a bit different to my usual. I usually do streams on Twitch, but here's a little video for YouTube. The purpose here is to show you guys around my kind of final base here in an MC Eternal world that I played with a few other peeps. If I show you the leaderboard, you can see time played. Yeah, it was mostly myself with over 300 hours put in. Cousin Stark, who was the server admin, and a couple other guys who were around a bit as well. So yeah, it was multiplayer. We did a lot of trading and stuff in the early days, but as interest tailed off, I stuck around, got a lot of quests done. Again, if I show you the leaderboard, you can see I got 55% of the way through, which sounds like it's just over half, right? And it is, but I mean, there's a lot of quests. There's lots and lots of quests. So I completed the introduction tab, I completed the farming and agriculture tab, I completed the mystical agriculture tab, as you'll see shortly, the sort of the gains from that, and lots more besides, right? A lot of the other quest tabs have a lot of different quests done. There's still loads more to do, but I moved on to other things. So yeah, before the server shut down, I just wanted to put this video together to sort of let you guys have a look around, and perhaps also for my own nostalgia in times to come. So yeah, without any further ado, let's sort of crack on. The Chisels and Bits logo here on the side, just to sort of label it as my own. And if I put my jetpack on, I'll go over my gear in a minute. I'll give you a little bit of an aerial tour. So this is kind of the warehouse kind of look I did with the little skylight windows inside, and you can kind of see inside a bit from here. This was the original little hut that guarded the elevator into my base, because a lot of my base is underground, as you'll see. There's a couple of things outside that I never got around to kind of tidying up or finishing, including I've got an astral sorcery area somewhere in the distance over that way, and we've got a gateway. We'll go over that in a bit, but I think we'll start with a look around inside. So yeah, let's get in. Why go through the door when you can teleport through the window? Huh? So there you go. So I'll turn my jetpack off and we'll have a look around. So yeah, this is the main warehouse area. I started bringing up machines and things for manual use into this area, including access into the applied energistics system, of course. Some sort of random bits of storage. I did a lot of kind of late game rushing through quests, so there's some machines that I built for the purposes that are kind of just assembled. It was my intent to put them somewhere nicer in an area of their own, but yeah, there they are. You can see behind this the thermal expansion stuff. We've got the RF tools stuff. We've got what we've got over here. The tech reborn things. We've got the Ender IO machines as well. So this is very much kind of just where I did manual processing bits and pieces. There's even an enchantment extractor when I was messing around with some enchantments. Yeah. So let's go and have a look around. The first floor below, if I use the elevator, was my farm area, and this is where I spent a lot of the early hours of the game. I decided to rush mystical agriculture basically and try and get as many of the plants using Agricraft's mechanism to get them to the 10-10-10 state. If I show you, for example, in here, the growth, gain, and strength attributes, this is my kind of spares of everything, and you can see there's all these different seeds. And they're all at kind of that maximum level. And what that means, there's a few stray ones there. What that basically means is that they grow quickly, they produce a lot of resources quickly, and should I try and use them to crossbreed other ones or whatever, they do a good job of that too, and in improving them as quick. So yeah, we've got them up to maximum level. We've got a couple of, three automatic farms here. So this one's kind of, just over half full. This one's full and this one's full. And they're just producing the various essences. There are a couple of patches of Agricraft crops, like this is the emerald ones, for example, which you can't get the mystical agriculture versions of. So I kept them around. There's osmium somewhere as well. I think that's these ones growing on the gravel. So that's the way you can get osmium and emeralds growing. Diamonds I had in the same vein until I unlocked the diamond seeds, which are now here. We've even got the nether star ones as well, which I unlocked too. And as I say, all automatically farmed. by the farmers here, and then the stuff is pumped underground into this drawer controller. And if you can see down in the little gaps here, we've got all the drawers containing all the different essences, and some spares on the end there. Yeah, so you can see all those. Then over in this section here is the Inferium. So these are tier 6 Inferium crops, growing more and more Inferium, which is then passed into this system, RF Tools Crafter, where it's upgraded, so you can just see it arriving, and it'll upgrade through the different tiers until it becomes an Inferium block, at which point we then route it into the storage. And if we have a quick look in here, you'll see we have 59 stacks plus 13 more of Insanium essence. So yeah, plenty of that then. So that's the Inferium growth. This was obviously extremely vital early on in making sure I had enough of the different essences to make the seeds. Not so useful now, although it did come in handy when I made my armor, which we'll cover shortly. This is kind of my growth area. I was experimenting with the fertilized dirt, as that accelerates the growth of the crops, and we've got sprinklers throughout, right, just to make them grow faster as well. Unfortunately, it just seemed to be a bit of a visual glitch on here sometimes. I won't demonstrate. So I kind of changed that late game. That's why you can still see farmland on these. I never swapped them out to growing faster, as I'll show you in a minute. Didn't really need to. I have so many essences, I can't actually spend them all. Over here is essentially my money making machine. It started off as a log farm, but it's since switched to iron blocks because the coins you get are you get less coins, but they're more valuable, and so they're easier to cash in. So yeah, we've got a black hole unit with 1.8 million blocks of iron, which I can then pump into, because this phantom face is attached to it, which is why you can see kind of ender particles coming out of it. And then we have fully accelerated import buses attached to it, which I can switch on by clicking this lever. I'll do it just so you can get a feel for what happens. And basically it pumps blocks of iron into a task screen, and we very quickly accumulate. And this is slow, right? It does speed up, as you'll see, once the input buses really sort of get going. Yeah, crazy amounts of money very, very, very quickly. I'll turn it off now because I'm going to have an inventory full of this stuff. I mean, I have so many, I'm just going to trash them because, why not? There we go. What loads of money, huh? Speaking of money, I mean, I have, thanks to the glitch. If you ever come across this one, by the way, you have to pay yourself 1 coin, which, like that. Yeah. 1 coin in, 1 coin out. That fixes the glitch, and I've got 25.5 million coins. That's my current bank balance, so yeah, no problem there. Okay, so that's money making. So again, it's iron plants at the full tier being farmed to get the iron essence, being pumped into the crafter, where it's turned into iron ingots and then into blocks of iron. And the blocks of iron I then got being routed into this black hole unit, just simply because I can then store absurd amounts. Leave it running for half hour or whatever, and occasionally have to just swallow up the coins, and that's how I get loads of money. Good for buying various things from the shop. There's some real good buys in there. The creative upgrades for your tinker stuff being probably the one I bought the most of, and of course the jetpack, sorry. So there we go. That's my kind of crops area. Let's go down another level. This is my applied energistics area. Plus a little bit of other bits over there, which I'll come to. So yeah, I've got a controller here. You'll be able to see this peer-to-peer, point-to-point links, so that I can route vast quantities of channels around the base. You can see I've kind of left the various cables kind of visible. We've got a big wall of drives over there. All full of, I think these ones have got the 4Ks in, yeah, and these ones have got the 64Ks in. Plenty of storage there. And then I've used these anti-barrels to store kind of things with metadata or unique items kind of things, because they can store 1024 types of item. There we go. There's all the different random bits of armor and weapons and things and odd machines and all sorts of junk that you pick up that are awkward to store in an applied energistic system. This is the way I've chosen to do it. So there's storage buses along the bottom of those to link them into Applied Energistics. So yeah, anything like that I put in the system ends up in one of these anti-barrels. As for crafting, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the CPUs with a 64K storage and a few co-processors each. The reason is that number is so that we kind of use up the channels in an appropriate number. That's more the case with these things, which are my interfaces for my autocrafting. I think this is a new bank, so most of those are empty, but this old bank back here, you'll see, are completely full. Yeah, various different things. And I like to lay them out like this so that every interface has usually a minimum of 3 for the ones in the corner, but more usually 4 of the assemblers next to it, which means they can, for example, if I asked for 4 of these at the same time, because I wanted one of the resonant conversion kits, it could actually farm the manufacturer of each of those things out to 4 different molecular assemblers next to it, as opposed to linking it to just one. And then, yeah, you'd then all be trying to share the same assembler, and that would slow things down a little bit. You'll notice all the assemblers are full of acceleration cards as well, so they craft very, very quickly. So yeah, that's the point of that. And the other reason for doing it in a 2x2x4 block is because then there's 8 interfaces, and that occupies a smart cable, regular smart cable, and then there's 4 stacks of them, so that the 4 smart cables link together into one of the dense smart cables, which then feeds into the point-to-point link, and off it goes to the controller over the main central kind of route. Same with the drives, right? They're in stacks of 4 by 2, so 8. Again, so that they occupy a smart cable each, and there's 4 of them together into a dense cable with the 32 channels. So just kind of clever organisation of stuff to fit the system of Applied Energistics cables, really. At the back here is the machines for various automation. So these ones, for example, the Lithium Factory, I have recipes in here for, well, in this case, only one thing. It will feed the ingredients into here, pump it into here, and then it'll output the results back into the Applied Energistics system. And the same for the yeah, there's different infusing factories for different things that you're going to infuse with, if I remember right. So this one does it with diamond, for example. This one I think does it with, yeah, obsidian. This one's probably the redstone one, and I'm going to guess. Yeah, we feed the redstone in. So that's that. We've got the usual alloy smelters as well as couple, because there's so many recipes for the chassis and the various ingots and things that you need. We've got the sag mill there for the things that requires that. We've got the manufactory, and then some thermal expansion stuff over here. So the pulverizers, the furnace, and you can see I kind of laid it out thinking that I'll put potentially up to 8 along here. If I needed 8 pulverizers, I only ever got to need 2. Same with the furnace, there's only 1. The compactors, I needed a couple for all the different plates that you can get through. So yeah, that's that. Yeah, over here is the setup for the fusion reactor, or part of it. So this is the bit that does the heavy water, and then that gets turned into deuterium elsewhere, I think, or is it here? I forget. Yeah, I think you just pull it out of there. And then we've got the water going into the electrolytic separator to get the oh, there's the heavy water, look, going into deuterium. Yeah, and I think we make the tritium. No, we've got the lithium being made here as well. That's right. So yeah, if you're familiar with the fusion stuff from Mechanism, you may recall the big towers where you have to kind of make brine and then lithium. Well, thankfully with nuclear craft in the pack, we have lithium essence through mystical agriculture to give me the lithium ingots, which you can then crush into lithium dust, and that can get you your, with a chemical oxidizer, can get you your lithium. So you don't have to have those massive, great big towers, which can be a bit slow as well. So this is quite a neat way of getting the lithium you'll need. The other half of this setup is outside. I'll show you that in a moment. Okay, so I think that covers everything in this floor. Just a few random machines around. There's my bed. Very rarely use it these days. This floor looks very mystical, and that's because through here is all the magic stuff. Now, I didn't get much into the magical stuff. I mean, that is the extent of my Thorncraft area. Yes, great. We have the Dragon Egg, of course, on the Dragon Mill for extra utilities, grid power. We have something, well, I'll come back to that. Over here is my Botania area, and I got a little bit more into this. We had the what they call ender flames, which I was feeding coal to start with, and doing all the mana stuff over here. Later on, we actually made a cake factory. So if I give me a second, I will get out my. Ooh, didn't do that. I'll get out my personal shrinking device, and we'll have a look inside this little compact machine here. Because as you can see, we've got a lot of cake. Nearly 410,000 cake. How, you may ask? Well, we have a little setup in here, and this is self-sufficient. Everything it needs, including the power to drive the machines, is all in here. That was part of the kind of the goal I wanted. So if I just drop down here, you can see there's my numismatic dynamo, and I'm feeding that with Guardian essence being turned into prismarine, right? So there's the prismarine shards. Pretty good power source in this pack. And up here will be the various essences, including the prismarine ones, which I think is this one at the back here. I think that's what it is. Lots and lots of soybean, because it turns out the vast majority of the ingredients can be made from soy, which is why we collect loads of it here. And if we look in the crafting machine, yeah, here's all the things we're making. So note I'm using cobble and to sort of blank out some of the slots, and using this to remember the current items in the internal thing, to kind of mark a different slot for each ingredient. And then we've got the various recipes here for making them. So yeah, this is just Guardian essence, which gets turned into the prismarine shards, which we pump off for power. We're getting soy milk from our soybeans. We're getting tofu from it as well. The tofigs are an egg replacement also from the tofu. There's the soybeans themselves. So yeah, we pretty much get the vast majority of the ingredients from it. Even the flour can come from the soybeans as well. We do need some dandelion yellow to make the tofigs, so we've got a bit of dye essence for that. We needed some sugar, so we've got the sugar canes, and we've got the nature essence to make the sugar canes. So it's all in here. Like I say, completely self-sufficient. There's the centrifugal separator that turns the soybeans into the tofu. This is like the squeezer things, the pressers, only faster, basically. Turns the soybean into the silken tofu, and the silken tofu into the firm tofu. I forget. I think, yeah, I still use these because, why not? But these two between them are considerably quicker. And you get a little byproduct of some grain bait, should you wish to have it as well. So yeah, there you go. That's cake in a nutshell, basically. Even power self-sufficient, and it's got the farm there, harvesting the essences all by itself. That just chucked cake out. And as I say, 410,000 of them nearly. And those cake are used for these kekimuras, which are a really good way of building up your mana supplies really quickly. I just flick this switch here, and it'll pump it'll place a cake there underground, and it'll just keep doing that over and over again for as long as that lever's there. Yeah, neat, huh? Fair bit of stuff with all the different runes, all the different petals. Pretty standard Botania stuff otherwise. So yeah, I think that pretty much we're done down here. Oh yeah, there was this room here. So the idea here was using a Lunium. What I was trying to sort of generate was dungeon loot, because some of the things in the game you can only get from dungeon loot. Turns out it's really, really slow, even with like ridiculous amounts of mana generation and so on. It wasn't particularly effective. I didn't even get around to automating the actual killing of the mobs that it generates with them. So basically, in the old days, it used to just generate the drops. Now it generates a special mob that drops the dungeon loot, so you have to kill it. Yeah, I didn't get around to automating that. Okay, moving on to the next floor. This one is kind of a power gen floor. So yeah, over here is the aforementioned fusion generator, which you can see is churning away, generating me basically 200,000 RF a tick, which is very nice. Here's the lasers to warm it up. Something I actually kind of use some of that energy on is the Quantum Quarry. I don't think it's running at the moment though. I think I've got it on. Oh no, it is. Blocks mined 916,000, nearly a million blocks that's mined. I think it's currently stuck waiting for room, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I think one of these. Yeah, we've got a filter on here, so we only pull out the ores. The ores get pushed into here and then imported into the applied energetic system. This was kind of looking for other bits and pieces. And a spare biomarker in there as well. Yeah, it does find all sorts of odd things, lots of plants and things. Over here, the Empower from Actually Additions, I kind of hastily set up in a corner because I needed it briefly. Meant to give it a proper home, but not yet. Over here, oh, is this for? Let me think. What was this for? I think this was for the 5 times ore multiplication you can do, just to do it for the sake of doing it. I think I needed the crystals for one of the quests. Well, like one item required it, so I had to sell this up. So yeah, this is how you do mechanism 5 times ore doubling in a kind of a very compact way. Starting from some basic water supplies, separating it into hydrogen and oxygen. We introduce some sulfur. I think that gives us the sulfuric acid, is it maybe? Or sulfur trioxide, which in turn gets turned into sulfuric acid by adding water vapor off from the water again. Then we turn that, we use that sulfuric acid with, what do we pump in there? I forget. Probably the ore, actually. I think you put the ore in here maybe, and it dissolves it into slurry. We then clean the slurry with the chemical washer, and I think it finally comes to it gets crystallized, and then that was the crystals I needed. I think you then have to like smelt or pulverize it several times over to finally get down to the actual ores. I didn't need to, so that's as far as I got with that one. This is my lithium farm for the fusion system. This is my uranium farm for the nuclear craft stuff, which I'll show you shortly. And this is probably my main power sort of supply prior to getting the fusion, and is obviously used if the fusion falls over, which occasionally it just decides to stop and it needs to be restarted by the lasers. These are great. So what we have is a Guardian essence farm generating the prismarine shards essentially, and we feed that into these things where we've got the lapidary calibration. Because I'm not one for wasting power, I have the excitation field limiter, which basically means when no power is needed, it doesn't produce any. Whereas if that's missing, then you waste a small dribble of power. Now, in another pack I'm playing, I've done away with these and just put a third auxiliary transmission coil in, which, I mean, this does 840 RF a tick. For each one of these, you can get 960 RF a tick out of them, and each prismatic, every prismarine shard gets you like a ton of energy, right? So that's why we can grow just with one farmer in a little 9x9 field. We can grow more than enough prismarine shards to feed all of these, even when they're going at full pelt, which they are. We've got no energy spare because I'm pumping it all into a quest. All of these are empty, so they're going at full pelt, and we're still not even denting the. Yeah, as soon as the shard goes, like it just did there, it gets replaced. So yeah, I really recommend these for anyone. You can get them pretty early on, relatively speaking. Once you've got your infinite prismarine shard supply going, courtesy of Mystical Agriculture and the Guardian Essence seeds, you won't look back. These are more than enough power, really. The fusion was kind of, why not? But you don't need it. You just put another bank of these in if you want. This just grows pretty well. So anyway, that's down here sorted. I think below here is just an empty level, I think, yep, which I never used. And then down in the very basement, down in the pits, we have a wall of ores that I like to scan for using the scanner. Yeah, the idea being I could just, there it is, use a scanner, click it on there, and then go off to whichever place I want to go and mine, including like the ancient debris from the nether. And then be able to scan for it. So this is kind of my little stash of things to look for. Under here is my Wither Skeleton farm. I managed to find I don't know if you can see it in the fog, it's just behind there. I think you just caught a glimpse of it behind these guys. Look, honestly, guys, out of my way. I'm trying to show people around here, you know. Okay, yeah, there it is. Look, and I found that out in the overworld, so I didn't even have to go into the Nether, into a fortress or something crazy, like anything like that for my wither skeletons. We're doing just fine, nicking the spawner from the overworld. How I transported it, incidentally, is with these fine items here. The empty sack of holding from Cyclic, amazing thing. You can move stuff with it. Includes spawners, it includes containers full of things. It also includes, as you'll see in a little while, the astral sorcery crystals that you find in the little temples around the place. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. As you can see, I get a pretty decent, you know, pile of wither stuff out of that, and that gets brought round to here, where I've got my stereotypical little miniature wither cage with the classic reinforced obsidian. I kind of put this out here to protect the walls and stop having to wall this up every time I've spawned a wither. This way that the wither explosion doesn't take out any blocks. So because I had reinforced obsidian to spare, I splurged a little bit and, you know, surrounded the place with it. But anyway, that's where we killed the wither. We've got the water mills, which I used for my GP prior to the dragon egg mill. Down here is my spawner. So I've got the cursed earth, the grinder, and the various lights and the fans to blow the mobs around with. Nothing particularly fancy there. That's that. And we've got a few portals. So we've got the Atlantis portal, we've got the classic Nether portal, although slightly wider than usual, and the Deep Dark, of course, or the Beneath as it's now called. That's all there. And that is pretty much the kind of the main part of the base covered. So yeah, if I come back up, ooh, a little bit of a loading glitch there. Come on, load up. You can do it. I actually want to go up another floor anyway. Bear with me. Yeah, here we go. So, yeah, as I was saying, you know, the applied energistic system, this is the essences that I was talking about before. You know, there's a lot of those. I've got pretty much all the drawers that are down there are maxed out, so that's why there's 262144 of a lot of these things. There's a few that haven't quite made it, I think. Like, yeah, dirt, I had to use a lot of that, so it hasn't quite recovered yet. But yeah, tons and tons of resources. I really do recommend the mystical agriculture route. We will be, you know, constantly mining otherwise. And whilst mystical agriculture does take a while, I mean, I've probably spent a good 20 hours just grinding through all the different seeds, on top of a little bit of time to go and get some of the ingredients to make them. But it saves you so much time in the long run because you don't have to keep going mining all the time. That's pretty cool. I have to admit, I'm really pleased I'd spent that time. It was a very good investment. So it's night time at the moment. Let's not have night time. Let's switch to daytime. So there you go, the bed. I do actually use it. Give that a moment. Right, yeah, so we'll pop back up here and teleport out the window because why not? So yeah, as I was saying, there's just a little bit more out here, which is down here. So this is kind of the bit where we turn the lithium into the whatchamacallit, the tritium, yeah, which we then need to feed into the fusion reactor. So that's the job of these things out here. I found 5 is a good number for keeping it running. As long as you can keep them all fed with lithium, then during the day you get a bit of a backlog. So during the night when you're not producing any, it's not so important. If you're habitually manage to sleep through most of the nights, you can get away with less. But if you don't and you want your fusion reactor to keep running, that's probably what you're looking at. I do actually have in this tower over here, if I land a second, I've got, yeah, there's a teleport. I do actually have a beacon in here. So here's a little tip for you. Your sack of holding also manages to pick beacons up, right? So I can click down my beacon and it remembers the state it was in with the various effects. So I've got resistance and regeneration on this beacon. Now, beacons you might think, meh, you know, short range, what's the point? Well, make one of these, the Spectre lens. You have to get the Spectre ingots and do that kind of stuff to get it, but it's really worthwhile because if you put the Spectre lens on top of the beacon like this, it now affects me no matter where in this dimension I am. It's not cross-dimensional, but it's anywhere in this dimension at all, I will have resistance and regeneration as a buff. Pretty neat, huh? So let me. Oh, I think I've just accidentally dug up some slabs. Never mind. I wonder where they came from. Are they underneath these things or something? Very strange. I'll put this away, and yeah, and then when you're done, you can just, if you don't want the beacon on all the time, you can just pop it away in the sack of holding, and it remembers, like I say, what things you've programmed into it, and you don't have to keep, reactivating it all the time. Pretty cool, right? Okay. Can I get out of here easily? Yeah, I can go to the Astral Gateway. So yeah, that's good timing really. Let's use the Astral Gateway to zip over, not to Cousin Stark's base, but to, if I can find it, yeah, my astral zone. And here is my little astral sorcery area. Again, I didn't bother. I think that might be where the wither skeleton spawners turn up and things like this. I don't think it was that one, but they look a bit like that in case you're looking for them. Anyway, yeah, I set this up as my astral sorcery area. I was going to do something really snazzy with it, but in the end, again, just yeah, time and motivation slipped away, and I did other things. Here's my altar. As I was saying before, the sack of holding from Cyclic lets you pick these up, the collector crystals. So if you go and find a bunch of the temples around the world, you can yoink the crystals and bring them back, and then you can link them to your altar. What that means is, I mean, this is an iridescent altar. That is actually a lot of starlight, and I could, if I wanted to, go and get more, but a lot of the recipes I use for this require nighttime anyway, so yeah, not a lot of point. But to get through the first few stages without having to set up relays and things around the place like these on the special blocks, then yeah, nicking some of these and linking them to your altar, definitely advised. It will speed things up for you, and you'll have plenty of starlight to do all your early crafting things. Definitely worth going through Astral Sorcery. If you haven't used it before, I strongly recommend it, because you can attune yourself using this kind of beast, and then you can get all the different perks. So I can quickly show you how far I got with mine. If I go to the perks tab, I went for all of the armor related ones to make myself even more of a tank than I already am. Yeah, and got to level 25. When you get to level 30, it caps out, and you can't add any more. I think you can reset them, and then you can earn new ones, but I don't know whether they stack with the old ones or not. I didn't get that far to find out. But that's Astral Sorcery for you. I have the ability to teleport back to base, so I'll do that. I wanted to quickly show you the nuclear craft area that I set up. So I use my RF tools to teleport to get there, and it's basically in the end a long way from everywhere else, because it was nuclear stuff, and I just didn't want the idea of like nuclear radiation everywhere being a problem, because it's a thing in this pack. In fact, my base is near a nuclear, well, I say near, kind of near to a nuclear wasteland, and I very slowly get irradiated in my base, which is slightly irritating, but I didn't know when I built it. So yeah, I didn't want any mishaps, but I have here the essentially five breeder reactors, the idea being to turn the different types of nuclear material, cycle them all the way around, producing power as we do so, but power was kind of secondary to my needs, because this thing over here, the Californium Rtg, is one of the quests. And that Californium Rtg generates something like, I think it's 400 RF a tick just by itself. And I could very easily make dozens and dozens and dozens of these now that I've got this set up. If you look here, I've got 14,842 stacks of uranium-238, and 35 tiny clumps of it. Yeah, there's various nuclear materials here. We've got the neptunium, there's the californium, the different types. There's loads. I could quite easily make more RTGs if I wanted to. Here's a dedicated applied energistic system that I set up just to deal with this little nuclear area. It's kind of self-sufficient, so it only has the nuclear bits and pieces in it, and it's just based here. It's got a little bit of auto crafting facilities with the recipes in here just so that it can make the different materials. That way I didn't need to hands on them at all. We literally insert the fuel here, run the fuel, pull out the output of that fuel, the waste materials, process it in the fuel reprocessor, and then that would end up in the I think that was me. Yeah, that was when I had some stuff to start with, actually. It then gets pulled back into the AE system, and then it's the next bits that are required are crafted and injected into that one, and repeat and rinse 5 times until you get your outputs of this one, which was the stuff I needed, the Californium for the RTG, plus some other byproducts. All stored nice and safely out here in the end, miles away from anything else. Okay. Now I think that more or less covers the base. I'm just trying to think if there's any other things. Oh yeah, we've got the Jaffa Factory. So I spent an episode making this just for fun, really. So I'll quickly demonstrate. If you recall the Cake Factory was made second and was kind of based as a revised edition of this. So it looks extremely similar. This was the one I built first. In some ways, it looks a little bit nicer because you've got all this stuff. But we even have a tree for the oranges for the Jaffa, which is a little bit of a nuisance to harvest. We had to go use the mechanical users in the end. So yeah, if you have them on activate block with item, they can pick the oranges off. But yeah, down here you can see all the different ingredients. Again, using the fact that tofu pretty much most of the ingredients for you, combines them in the crafters, and that's our Jaffa Factory. I won't go over it because it's, like I say, pretty much the same as the Cake Factory. But you can see here we have 32 stacks of Jaffas, because for some reason I used a drawer and not a barrel. I do like the drawers, I think they look better, but the barrels, you can craft the infinity storage upgrades in this pack, so you can store infinite amounts of stuff in them, which is pretty nice. Anything else? The smeltery was early game and nothing special. Yeah, I think for the most part that covers the base. The only other thing I was going to quickly go over is my gear, just so you can have a look. So I made the Supremium armor from Tinker's the Constructs Armory mod. So just the Supremium one of each, and then used the various materials on it. So you can see, yeah, we made it out of Supremium. The cores are made out of Supremium. We used steel plates, and I've used Manulin trim, and then I've used night slime embossment, some sponge to polish it with, put loads of resistant upgrades on it. So we've got resistant 8 on each piece. We've got what else? We've got the redstone on it to make it speediest, which is why, I don't know if you've noticed, I move pretty quickly, and this is just walking speed. Running speed is even faster, and flying speed is insane. I won't be able to demonstrate that in here really, and it'll probably just lag loads. So anyway, yeah, as well as I've put soulbound on them all as well, so that means if I do actually die, which is highly unlikely, but you never know, then I get to keep these items. They don't get left in my grave, which is very handy. Put the traveller's goggles on for night vision, which is why you might have noticed, I think it was dark earlier, I can see very well in the dark, thanks to that. We've also got amphibious on there, so I can breathe underwater and operate underwater, I think. What else? We put the jetpack pancake hippos, as it says, which is the creative jetpack you can buy from the shop. You can put that on here as well, so that basically gives you unlimited jetpack flight. You don't have to charge it up or anything. That's pretty cool. We've put unbreakable on all of these as well, so even because the traveler's goggles, for example, if you have them switched on, do use up durability of the helmet, but because it's unbreakable, it doesn't, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I think that covers the armor. In baubles, we've got a fire charm and a lava charm just for a bit of protection. I've got a ring of the flying squid. Now, you might think, why bother when you've got a jetpack? But actually, I find it convenient just to be able to, when it works, that is. Remember that there's a bug with this. You have to take it out and put it back in like that whenever you switch dimensions. Very annoying. But it's handy just to be able to sort of drift around the base from one level to another, and not have to climb anything without having to turn the jetpack on, which can get a bit fiddly sometimes. So that's that. What else do I have? Tome of the Diligent. This is because I was working on my magic from Electroblobs, and that gives you more experience. So, or the one progression thing's better. I have a creative wireless crafting terminal, which you can buy from the shop once you've completed the first bunch of quests, the so-called introductory quests, which take you way into the late game to actually do anyway, I think, a lot of the time. Once you've done all these, you can get your creative wireless crafting terminal, which is brilliant, obviously, because you can access your applied energistics system from literally anywhere, in any dimension as well. So that's cool. I have an ender sword. You can see here I've got anchored, which is the spectral dimension thing. Yeah, is that random things? Yeah, the spectre stuff. You can make a spectral anchor and you apply that to your equipment, and that means you keep it when you die as well. So that's pretty cool. I've done that on quite a few items. We've got Vorpal 6, which I achieved with the Fire Axe trick. If you know about the Fire Axe from, I think it's Extra Utilities, if you enchant that with Vorpal 3 and then enchant it again with Vorpal 3, you get Vorpal 6, and you can then disenchant it using an enchantment extractor and apply it to your weapon. Sharpness 15 came off of a reward of some sort, as did looting 10. So when I spotted those, and I've applied them onto this sword as well. It's also got empowered 5, and it's got travel, so it works like a staff of travel, which is how I've been teleporting from around the place with the shift key, shift click. You can teleport through walls and all sorts, and you can use it to, if you hold sneak down, is that because I'm stood on the... Yeah, you can see the various what they're called travel anchors around the place and teleport to them as well. There's some down here. So yeah, really good sword. It's a great sword anyway. I mean, 22 damage with Vorpal 6 on it. It can sometimes like super crit, and I have actually one-shotted withers with it on several occasions, a couple on stream as well. So there is proof. Yeah, that's come in very handy. My favourite sort of mining tool, the drill. I've got the 3x3 upgrade in it, and you can sneak, if you remember, that is, to do a 1x1. The ender bow is awesome too. I've got infinity on it, so got infinite arrows. Unbreaking 10, just to try and minimise the amount of damage that gets through the empowered 5 thing. I mean, it takes charge, uses up charge most of the time. That's there, and power 10, of course, to add some extra damage. That again is power 5 multiplied twice with the fire axe. I think that's how I did it. And the thing I like about the ender bow in this pack, and I don't think it does it in every pack, but in this one it certainly does, is you can spam it, and that will decimate a dragon, even a tier 5 dragon, in about 10-15 seconds. It barely gets a chance to fight you at all, because you just murder it with this. So that's pretty cool. Torch launcher, just to light the place up. I'll show you a trick with that in a second. The advanced charge portal, which is my get home quick mechanism. Toast. Even in the late game, I find the fact that you get like 3.5 shanks of food and 5.5 bits of saturation just from one piece of toast is just absurd. So I've just used toast throughout the whole game, right away from the beginning all the way through. The storage bag, again, notice I've anchored it so that I can hang on to it in case I die. This is basically where all my tools and bits and pieces that I might just want to hold on to are. Yeah, it's all in here, just stuff I like to have on my person. To be frank, I could put it inside the AE system and just use this, but I kind of remember the layout here, and that means I can easily get things in and out. So yeah, there's that. And of course the dank null. No miner should be without it. Great for just storing tons and tons of blocks and keeping them out of your main inventory. I also carry around my time in a bottle, which has now 202 hours stored in it, because I haven't used it in ages, but it's funny just to keep it there. And then yeah, my magic wand, which I started playing with. So that's my gear. One thing I did spot, I can quickly show you as well. I have a dragon. So let's go and let him out. We will want to do that outside for reasons that will become very, very obvious. So let's come out here to a nice clear patch over, say, here. And then we'll grab our dragon horn and we will summon my dragon. Ooh, yeah. He's a big, big dragon. So yeah, wings for a tree apparently. Is he having a snooze or something? Hello? He's asleep, I think. Maybe I'll let him stay asleep. Anyway. But yeah, dragon horn's great for carrying your dragon. Oh, it's a she. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, she's gone back to sleep in her little dragon horn. That's fine. So that's that. I think that pretty much covers all of it. Yeah. Yeah, I think we've covered everything. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this little tour around my base here. This is me done in this playthrough. I mean, to be fair, I've been done for over a month, but anyway, yeah, that's me done. So yeah, on to other things. If you fancy catching me online sometime, you can catch me on Twitch. I'm there usually Mondays and Thursdays and Saturdays from 9 p.m. till midnight UK time. And yeah, it's just Minecraft, Minecraft, Minecraft. So at the moment I'm playing Awakening Sky of Diamonds on Saturdays, and I'm playing Sevtech on Mondays and Thursdays in the multiplayer world. But by the time you see this, I may be onto other things. But yeah, do come along, check me out, drop me a follow if you want to be notified when I'm online. Yeah, yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm literally going to post it as I've recorded it, so just very stream-like. This is very much what my streams can be like. If I'm showing you around, or if I'm building something, or just progressing through the pack. But yeah, yeah, check me out sometime. All right. But yeah, thanks for watching. Catch you later.